Our guest speaker has been sharing the importance of promise with people around the world. Sheen is the founder of Because I Said I Would, the international social movement and nonprofit dedicated to the betterment of humanity through promises made and kept. The work of his organization has reached millions of people in more than 150 countries. He's a thought leader in character education and civic responsibility. Alex is a 4-time TEDx presenter, a published author, and the proud dog father of 3, Kimchi, Rocky, and Mishka. Alex is someone who truly honors commitment. He once walked over 240 miles across the state of Ohio in 10 days to fulfill a promise. His work has been featured on ABC's World News with Diane Sawyer, CNN, the Los Angeles Times, the Today Show, and many other programs. But most importantly, he's a proud Ohio University graduate. So let's hear it for your 2019, oh boy, let me start over. Let's hear it for your 2019 Spring Commencement speaker, Mr. Alex Sheen.
Oh, Ohio University. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling pretty regal up here, you know? They got me dressed like an appeals court judge or something, you know? And for whatever reason, maybe it's because of that regal feeling, I thought that the invitation process to be the commencement speaker was gonna be this like sort of behind the scenes, time-honored tradition, right? You know, like there was gonna be formality to it. I imagined in my mind, you know, they release 2 doves at midnight, right? And those doves, they know where I live, and they've got like a wax-sealed envelope, right? It falls from the sky. Rufus, you know, our mascot, Rufus is at my house, right? He's waiting for it. He's dressed like a conquistador or something, right? He grabs that envelope. He gets on one knee, and he asks me to be the commencement speaker, like we're going to prom or something, you know? That's how I imagined it in my mind, but that's not actually the process. This is the actual process. Dr. Nellis sends you a text message, like on a Tuesday or something, right? And then you, of course, respond to that text message like, new phone, who dis, you know? And then, you know, you go back and forth, right? The parking's terrible, and here we are, right? But of course, Dr. Nellis wanted me to share some words of wisdom, you know, words of wisdom. So, what to say? Well, maybe the best way to start is to frame this moment, the moment that we are in right now. What has led to this moment? You see, since you were born, there have been these guardrails at work, trying to keep you on a path. Since you were in kindergarten and throughout school, you have had teachers, classes, family members guiding you. I mean, literally as a kid, it is illegal for you not to be schooled. And even in college, the guardrails, they continue: a syllabus, a professor, a hierarchy of classes, even a cultural expectation that dropping out isn't a good thing. All of this keeping you on a path, a groove in the road. Well, those guardrails and that groove in the road, it ends today. Because as of now, today, society officially recognizes you to be equipped with the knowledge, the perspective that deserves autonomy and independence. At this point, right now, for some of you, you are on your own. The decisions you make, they are up to you, and so the consequences as well. Whether you are ready for this moment or not, the moment is upon us, nonetheless. And with this responsibility, as this graduating class spreads to the winds, who will you decide to be in this new future? Well, who we should be, at least in some small way, should be based on who is. Meaning, who is worth emulating? Who deserves respect? I think we can answer that with two simple questions. Questions that I'm going to ask you right now. Who is the most reliable person in your whole life? When you are in trouble, when the stakes are high, who is going to put their head through a wall to make sure that you are okay? And even with the small things, who shows up for you? Maybe that person is in this room right now. And my second question is just the opposite. Who is the least reliable person in your life? Who loves to talk, loves to say they're going to be there, but when the time comes, all that shows up is a bunch of excuses. Traffic, I forgot, or whatever. Maybe that person isn't in the room right now. Maybe that would be fitting. You see, it turns out that one of the greatest qualities to carry into this world is to be a person of your word, keeping the promises that you make to others and promises that you make to yourself. Even in this very moment, right now, you said you were going to walk across this stage, and in minutes from now, you will do just that. Many of your loved ones have traveled, in some cases, thousands of miles because they are so proud of you and the promise that you have honored. And for those of you who may not have support today, I know I am just a stranger, but I am proud of you because I am tired of living in a world full of broken promises. And it inspires me to know that people who actually follow through, they still exist. I once knew a man who kept his promises. His name was Sheen, but everyone called him Al. He referred to himself as the bank of dad because he paid my tuition. He was my father. 4,347 days ago today, my dad sat in this same room and watched me walk across this same stage. I never asked him, but I'd like to believe that he was never more proud of me as a father than at that moment. After I graduated, 5 years later, on September 4th, 2012, at 11:31 a.m. in the morning, my father died of stage 4 small cell lung cancer. I was asked by my family to give his eulogy, to speak to his greatest characteristic, his greatest quality as a man, and I kept coming back to this thought of keeping a promise. That day, at his funeral, as I gave his eulogy, for the very first time, I handed out one of these. I called it a promise card. On the front, it says, "Because I said I would." On the back, there is nothing else. It is very simple to use. What you do is you take a promise in your life. Maybe something small you said today, or maybe it's something so deep that it defines part of your purpose for being on this earth. You write that promise on this card. You give it to the person you're making that commitment to. You tell them, "I'm going to fulfill this promise, and when I do, I earn this card back. This card is a symbol of my honor, my respect. It is my property, and I'm coming back for it." You go, you fulfill your promise. You come back to that person, you earn your card back, and you keep it as a reminder that perhaps you are a person of your word. Maybe someone like Sheen was to his sons. But a belief that the world can get better through commitment or otherwise, it seems to become harder and harder to hold on to that belief. Right now, the world, it is cynical, it is skeptical, it is pessimistic. I mean, can an individual really change anything? Well, if there is anything that I have learned since graduating from Ohio University, it is that perhaps the most dangerous idea in this world is the thought that the actions of one person, they don't matter. Perhaps that is the most dangerous idea, because when we all start believing that, well, the world, it does nothing. At what point are we going to do what is right, not because it is popular or because it is trending, not because the law tells us that we have to? At what point are we just going to tell ourselves that I can't sleep at night knowing that I didn't try to help somebody in need? At what point do we say to ourselves, I cannot look in the mirror knowing that I gave up on what matters. Yes, the world, it is a terrible place. But if enough people care, it doesn't have to be. I am here to challenge you, graduates of Ohio University, to your next promise. You see, now the guardrails in your life, that groove in the road to guide you, it will be forged and made by the promises that you decide. Those promises can help you keep on the right path, hopefully for yourself and the betterment of humanity. Each graduate today will receive 10 promise cards on your way out. Family members and friends, there are tables of cards, and should you wish to join your loved ones, please grab them and be a part of this call to action. Let this moment be a notice to the world that a true Bobcat, a genuine Ohio University graduate, we honor our promises. A handshake, it means something to us because talk is cheap. We recognize that the world is in great need, and so our determination is needed. I will leave you with a quote from Calvin Coolidge, 30th President of the United States. The quote goes like this: "Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, 'Press on,' has solved and will always solve the problems of the human race. Congratulations on your incredible accomplishment today. I hope for only the best for you and your journey. Thank you."